Do you want to save thousands on booking fees and turn those one-time guests into repeat guests?
The secret is starting an email list, and we'll show you how today.
Hi, I'm Sarah Karakayan.
And I'm Annette Grant, and together we are
Thanks for visiting.
We've been hosting for well over a decade, welcomed tens of thousands of guests, and earned thousands of 5-star reviews.
Our portfolio continues to bring in over 1.5 million year over year, and supported not only by the industry's leading brands, but also some of the biggest media outlets.
And we're here to help you with your furnished rental.
Annette, what is an email list and why does it really matter?
Before I even tell you what that is, I will say this was my biggest #1 mistake when I started hosting. I was not collecting any information from my guests. So please, this video is so important because I could have tens of thousands of names and emails that I could be asking back to properties again and again. So the email list is your direct connection to your guest and past guests, okay? So this is a way, like when just think about social media or anything like that. Like, yes, people can come to us, but we need to know how to reach back out to them. So that is what your email list is. It is your direct connection to those guests and a way for you to ask them back again and again and again. So that is that one-on-one relationship, just like back in the day when you would get their physical mailing address to be able to mail them direct mail pieces or letters. You need to have their email list so you can email them offers to come back and stay at your place that you actually, I don't want to say you don't own the relationship, but you have access to the client.
And then you're not forced to play by Airbnb or verbal rules. Not that they're rules. We're not saying that, like, listen, we wouldn't be where we're at today without these platforms, right? And we can agree with you on that one. But I can tell you, we've been reminded time and time again that if we put all of our eggs in the Airbnb basket, like, it's a risky place to be. So if you can connect with that guest directly, and next time they book with you, they can book direct with you because you can tell them, hey, you can save on fees. There's these other perks involved. You don't have to pay those high OTA fees. And as we all know, Airbnb just keeps jacking them up and they're putting them on the host. So it really is a money-saving tactic as well as a great way to build your business.
And decreases risk for you. And the one thing, I'm going to put asterisk, asterisk, asterisk here. Again, you do have to get the guest's approval so that you can send them emails, okay? This isn't trying to go, scrape lists or anything like that. We want to make sure that your email list is on the up and up.
What's a scrape list?
Like you can buy lists from others, or maybe you could go behind the scenes and get their emails. So it's just like, it's no good. It's like dark web stuff, We want
to build relationships with your list within the short term.
But you want to get their approval to be able to send them. You don't want to spam them, is what I'm saying here. Let's go over all the ways to build your email list.
Let's start with guidebooks. Guidebooks are, first of all, there's a million companies out there that have guidebooks. Like, I feel like every day a new company
pops up with a digital guidebook.
With the digital guidebook, and I'm like, how are you different than a million others that are already out there? But I digress. There are guidebooks out there, and they're very cool because they're not very expensive. And you can, a lot of the good ones, you can customize to match your property. You can put videos in there, you can get photos in there, and here is the cool part. When a guest books via an OTA, let's just say Airbnb, once they book, you are then allowed to send a guest a link. It doesn't have to be an Airbnb link, it could be any link. So we send them a link to our guidebooks. We use Hostfully guidebooks. We'll put a link in the show notes if you're interested in checking them out. A link to the guidebook, and the guidebook guides them through the process of collecting the information, and it feels very natural. So when they click on the link, they see your property, and you can have a picture of the property they booked. It'll actually ask them for their name and email address before they can access any of the information, which is so cool. After that, it asks them to agree to the house rules, which is another place where you have them signing essentially a digital signature on the dotted line that they agree to your rules, and then they can see all the cool stuff about your property.
And what's great here is, let's say you have a larger property, and let's say I booked the property for my entire family. I could then send that link to get everybody pumped up, excited for our trip. And then you are also compounding and getting more names on your list because all of the guests that have the guidebook, because we want them to know what's going on. We want them to know where we're going, what the house rules are. You can start to get a lot more names very quickly.
We really, okay, and that's gonna laugh at me because I love these kind of words, but it forces the guest to give you their information, because what we do is we say, if you, to get the instructions on how to check in to get your lock code, you have to access this guidebook. So when we text them when we message them after they book, it is not this long message like it used to be with all the instruction.
Right.
It's not that anymore. It is literally a little paragraph, and it's like, all you need to do to know how to check into the property, including your door code, you have to click this link and view it in the guidebook. So there is no other option for them.
Awesome.
Which is awesome.
Up next, Stayfi and splash pages.
Ooh, what is a splash page?
Splashy. A splash page is I need some water to all this splash talk. It is just, let's say you go into a coffee shop and a page pops up where you have to put in your email and they give you access to the Wi-Fi. Let's say it's a hotel. You know, when you're laying in your hotel bed, you get out your laptop and it asks your name and your room number and you have to agree. That is a splash page. And what is amazing is that as hosts, we can have our own splash page. And the who we use to do this is Stayfi, and they make it so easy for any host, I'm telling you, any host to have their own splash page and be able to collect those emails from their guests. And what we love about these splash pages, there's numerous things, because number one, you can kind of brand your property. It's not like they're just trying to, you know, when you pull up Wi-Fi and there's 50,000 Wi-Fis of all your neighbors and everything going on, it's like, takes them to a spot. You can brand your house, feels very professional. And not only does the guest that book, you know, anyone that is using the Wi-Fi puts their information in. And what we love about it too is you can have a little checkbox of like, do you want to receive future
marketing messages?
Mailings? So you know that you've gotten the approval from them to send out these messages, and it is a game changer.
It's kind of like a layer on the guidebook, because the guidebook, they don't have to send it to everyone who's staying. Like, right, that person who booked might be a control freak like me and like text everyone like what to do and how to do it. But if everyone gets to the property
and they want to get on Wi-Fi,
they're going
to want to.
Just think about it. Like Uncle Bob, like the 10th person, like he's in his room trying to get online. He's got to put his information in. So now you can market to Uncle Bob. It's very cool.
Absolutely. Up next is your direct booking confirmation opt-in. Keywords here, direct booking.
So, meaning, let's say they did find you via a Google search and you already have a direct booking website. We don't want you to forget that you still want to collect their email address, and you want to do it in a way where they think they're getting value in exchange for their email address, right? So you can give them an opt-in to stay up to date on promotions.
Happenings in your area.
Right.
Yeah, promotions are normally like the reason that you can kind of
hook them. Yeah. Maybe there's something fun about, like, what is it about and we'll get into this in a little bit, but what is it about them giving you their email address that is interesting for them, or there's something of value there? Because a lot of people know how valuable their email address is and the honor it is to show up in their inbox. And so they want to know, if they give you their email address, you know, what are they getting in return?
And this is the thing, like if you could tell them, you learn about promos, you can let them know that they'll be the first to know when your calendar opens up for new dates, and or maybe last minute cancellations that you can give them first preference to. So there's a multitude of things here that you can offer to them for signing up.
I know a couple brands of short-term rentals that are like really huge on Instagram because they're so awesome. And they'll tell their Instagram followers like, hey, if you want to know if we have a cancellation, you want to get in and stay at this highly desirable place, just know that we open up those dates first to our email list.
Yeah, it's exclusive. That's the other thing that really, again, hook them, is make them feel like there is exclusivity there. They could also learn about VIP offers. If I get, like, anybody can sell me on a VIP offer any day. A lot of what we've been talking about is before and during the stay. Now we want to talk about getting their email after the stay, and you can do that with surveys.
So if all the other options haven't worked yet, or you don't like any of them, okay, fine. Let's talk about once they leave. Like, if you want to ask them.
Post-stay.
Right.
Sorry, I should have said that. Post-stay surveys.
Yeah, and after they leave, you ask them about their stay, what could have been better. You can even entice them to do the survey in exchange for a discount off their next stay. But something that you want to do there is ask them to join your email list so that they can, again, stay up to date or be on the exclusive list of knowing about promotions or anything that's going on in your property or in your area that they might find of value. Social media and giveaways.
Now, these have nothing to do with actual current guests or people staying in the home. This is about casting a wider net for potential people to come stay at your home. So you want to get their email. So the social media and giveaways is How can you, on social media, whether that be Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, ask people to join your list? And a lot of times, if you couple that with a giveaway, you want to incentivize them to join your list. That always works really, really well.
Give you a TFE pro tip here. A lot of people ask us, a lot of hosts ask us, well, what about, I'm having issues with my social media, or they want to get on social media, they want to prioritize social media. Social media is super fleeting, everyone. Like, just think about that. Like, when next time you're on your phone and you're on TikTok or Instagram, and I'm serious, just try to get outside of yourself and see how you use social media. Because if you're anything like me, I'm doing a lot of this. Maybe once in a while I'll stop and I'll double tap, or I'll then go to like their profile and see like how many followers they have or like what else they do. But it's very rare that I'll actually follow them. So like, I'm never going back to their account. So what you want to do, your goal with social media, if that is a focus for you, it has to be, how can I get their email address so I can be sure to connect with them in a less noisier space, like their email inbox? How do we do that? Really enticing giveaways.
And if you, the way to really like, let's say, supercharge these giveaways is to partner with local businesses. If you can partner with, let's say, coffee shops, diners, pizza places, maybe a museum, anything, maybe a museum might be too corporate, but if there are smaller businesses in your area, go in there, reach out to the DM them, see if you could do a giveaway together. And then, like I said, casting that wider net, it's not only your audience, now you're getting access to their audience. And part of that giveaway could be they do need to enter their email list. That's how you're going to announce the winner, or they have to be on your email list in order to win. But this is where you can get super creative and also do a give back to your community. And it's a great way for you to meet other business owners.
A really good example of this that I want to give you, because we talked about it at one of our live events a couple of years ago, but it still stands the test of time today, is partnering up with a, like, what do you call it? Like a big local newsletter. It could be a local little like magazine, like a physical magazine, or I don't know about you, like I sign up for events that are going on in my area, and the writers for those local media outlets are really creative, and the way they talk is very colloquial. Like it's fun to engage in local media, and we'll see what's going on. And so they have giant email lists because they have marketing dollars to get people's email lists.
And they're always looking for giveaways. They're always looking for partnerships.
And so if people, let's say for example, the example I have is this woman lived in New York City, and she was a part of a very niche neighborhood in New York City, and they had a newsletter, a digital newsletter, and it was a physical newsletter too. So
was it We Love Astoria?
We Love Astoria.
We Love Astoria.
So she partnered with them on her short-term rental, and it was just an hour and a half away up north, and a lot of New Yorkers like to get out of New York.
Destination.
They go upstate, and so she did a giveaway, and the newsletter loved it because it's something fun for their readers to engage in, and she lived in the community, which makes it even better, and you're giving the readers something they want to do, which is to get out of the city for the weekend to a beautiful short-term rental. So we just want to get your brain thinking here of all the ways that you can really expand your email list, and it can be a lot of fun.
You have the emails, now what? What tool are you going to use to distribute emails? You can't do like a CC, 200, 500, 1,000, 2,000 people.
What do you mean CC?
Like carbon copy everybody and just type everybody's name in. You need to use an email service provider to send out your emails. Again, that's keeping you on the up and up.
Yeah, so a lot of people in marketing will call it an ESP. They'll use that acronym, but it's an email service provider.
Well, wait, is it a CRM or ESP?
ESP.
Okay.
Email service provider. CRM is a customer relationship manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, all the acronyms.
All the acronyms, right. And people will just throw them. We'll do the same thing too in our industry because it just is easier to say it. But an email service provider is something like MailChimp, ConvertKit, or we already talked about it, StayFi.
They have their own in-house, right?
Yes.
Okay,
and
awesome.
It's specifically built for short-term rentals.
Chef's kiss there.
We
That's
actually
easy.
know the CEO and the founder, and he's a very cool dude. And he's built it for our industry.
He only focuses on short-term rental.
Right. MailChimp, if you've probably heard of MailChimp, tons of different small businesses use MailChimp, and it's total viable option, and it's free up to a certain amount of email addresses. I think they've reduced it to 500, maybe even lower than that. So that might be a good place to start and see what you like about it or not. But if you're already going to try out StayFi to get email addresses at your property, it might make sense for you to use their email service provider because it's easy and it's already connected.
And we'll make sure to link to StayFi.
And we'll ConvertKit and MailChimp just to give you shortcuts to check these things out.
Yep.
But definitely take put something on your calendar, take a baby step, and just research a little bit about these tools we're talking about. Because I'm telling you, it's one of Annette and my biggest regret is not starting our email list for our guests sooner. Leveraging your email list.
We've heard so many hosts that are collecting, but they haven't distributed any sort of information to the list. They do get scared. So the biggest thing that we want to share is that consistency matters. All right. So if once a month is how often that you can reach out to your past guests via your email list, that's what you need to do. But consistency matters. You know, I know I see it all the time. Actually, it's the beginning of the year, so I'm getting all these emails like, oh, we're starting our newsletter again. You don't want to be the person sending that out. So get on a cadence and decide if it's the 1st of the month, the 15th of the month, whatever it is, be consistent.
Put it
showing up in their inbox.
Put it in your calendar, and if you're new, give yourself more time than you think you'll need. Like if you're like, okay, I can probably do it in an hour, then give yourself an hour and a half, 2 hours. And actually, people ask us all the time, how often should I send? I'm just gonna tell you what to do. Do it once a month, just start.
And then if you
Once a month, start and make it good. Less but better. Think about that newsletter. It's not about you. Why is the person receiving it? Why do they care to open it? What's in there that it's enticing? And I don't believe that it should just be a promotion to come back. There should be something in there, whether it's about your community, a fun fact, maybe like, and bring your brand into it. Like, what if your brand is all about sustainability? Or maybe you have an awesome chef's kitchen and like people love staying at your place because your kitchen is incredible. So maybe you share easy to make recipes that they can make at your rental or at home. Like, what is it about your newsletter that'll get them to open it and get excited to have you pop in their inbox each month? Put some thought into it.
Let's slow down and elaborate on those types of emails that you can send. Now that you're being consistent with it, of course, the first thing that's probably going to pop into everybody's mind is promos, discounts, cancellations. Those are obviously, we all get them in our inbox from miscellaneous brands. So look at the brands that you follow, that you buy from, and see what type of promos, discounts that they send out to you.
Next up is event updates. So like in our city of Columbus, Ohio, you think like, who comes back to Columbus, Ohio? But a lot of people do, because if they live in a smaller town outside of Columbus, they might come to the city, which there's almost 2 million people here. They might come to the city for whether it's football games, we have a really big football team.
We have a hockey team.
Fairs that are happening. A lot of conferences happen.
Concerts.
So what we'll do is we'll keep our email list updated with events. And sometimes if the event is really big, like maybe a certain artist is coming to town, that will be our subject line. Okay, so use your subject line to highlight what is in your email that month that will attract them to open it. And events is one really great way to draw them in.
The next thing is seasonal availability. Like we said earlier, if you know, hey, summer calendar is open, it books up fast, or, you know, we just said we're in Columbus, Ohio, like Ohio State football is huge here. So we want to let our past guests know, hey, our calendar's open for football season. So seasonally, you can update them on your calendar openings and events.
Start a loyalty reward program. And it can be as simple as having like a discount code that only your email list subscribers have. And maybe make it some fun word, you know, like VIP or exclusive guest or something fun like that. And have it in there where you're telling them what their special offer is that month, or maybe the code is good for the next 3 months or just the summer or just the winter. And tell them like only you get this if you're on our email list. So loyalty rewards, some sort of ask to come back for a discount is another great piece of content you can put in your newsletter. And there's one more.
And then last but not least, if they've done any upgrades to your property, did you put in a sauna? Did you put in a hot tub? Maybe you got all new amazing TVs or a sound system, any amenity, any upgrades that would kind of like wow your guests. Let them know about that. Let them know that you're reinvesting in your property. Please remember here, start small.
Tiny.
We went over a lot of things. I don't want you to think, oh, I need to have 1,000 people or 2,000 people. Every name matters. Every guest matters. And so I want you, if you're going to do monthly, let's say you have 10 emails, you send it out that month. Then you have a whole other month of reservations. You have 20, you have 30 emails. All of a sudden you're going to see, wait, I have 100, I have 150, I have 200. So slow and steady wins the race here. So I don't want you to put any sort of pressure, like I have to get to a certain number before I start communicating with those guests, because we know what that reservation is worth. So think about when you're sending it to all those names, those are past reservations unless you're doing something on social media. But again, just start slow. And guess what? I've made so many email mistakes, you guys. Dear ... where I didn't fill in the name, or maybe I forgot to the link was broken or messed up. You're gonna make a mistake. Like, if I wish I could have like a blooper reel here of all of the emails that I have sent out with it, maybe a small error. So give yourself grace. It happens to the best of us. And so just know that you don't want to be perfect. So progress over perfection.
And with that, if you are looking for more content to consume all about short-term rentals, we talked about the tech we use, the email service provider we use at the ESP. Check out our video about we call it a tech stack, the apps and technology we use to run our short-term rental business. It's awesome. With that, I am Sarah Karakayan.
I'm Annette Grant, and together we are...
Thanks for visiting.